Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel, my nerdy knitting friends. If you don't know me, my name is Laura. I'm a 24-year-old chemical engineering student who is completely obsessed with fiber science and everything knitting. And today I thought we should do a video on my favorite releases of today. And what I have done is that I've created categories in which the patterns fit in, and I will go through them category by category with you guys. So if you know you're not on the lookout for a sweater or a vest, you can just skip over the category and go to the next one so that you can find inspiration for what you are looking for. Before we get started, I wanted to talk to you guys about the categories. So I have a vest category, a colorwork category, a lacework plus cables category, a cardigan category, a minimal design category, and an accessory category. So I am very excited to share these with you guys. I think we should just jump right into it and start with the vest category. Here I have 3 patterns and I am utterly obsessed with all of the patterns. And I just want to tell you that if I keep looking down, it is because I'm sitting with my computer and I'm looking at the patterns with you guys so that we can talk about them together. So the first pattern I want to show you is the Blue Vest by Anita Weiss. And it is this beautiful button down vest that just looks very chic and very stylish. It is very classic looking with drop shoulders and a V-neck neckline fastened with buttons. And it is worked top down in stockinette stitch flat. And I just think it looks very, very nice and put together. And it really elevates an outfit. So for me, this is a white t-shirt, a pair of loose fitted pants or flares, and then you put this over to look way more put together and nice for like going out with coffee with some friends or just for chilling around. It has a bit of an oversized fit, but nothing much, so it looks a bit more put together than if it were too oversized. Furthermore, a lot of the vests that I have seen, they stop at like the shoulder, but because this is a drop shoulder construction, it covers your shoulder, which I think is so nice and such a cute design element as well. The ribbing is a bit of a like more spaced out ribbing, so I think it is a 2x2 ribbing, which looks nice and a bit more cozy. And then there's a double knitted button band, and overall, I think this is just a very great staple piece, and I have so many outfits in mind where I could use this. The second pattern I want to show you is the Marlin Slipover by Yang Li, and it is this very stunning lacework vest with a turtleneck, and it just looks so cute. There's this like lace pattern down the middle of the shirt, and then you have 2 cables that are like framing the lace in the front, and then the back is just very simple. You have a ribbing that goes down underneath the arm, which is a very nice design detail too. And overall, I think this is such a beautiful and feminine vest. You could definitely use it as a top as well. You don't have to necessarily use this as a vest, which I think is so cute. It is knitted top down and the color covers your neck just enough to give you warmth, and its drape is just effortlessly chic, and I completely agree with this. I can definitely see myself wearing this over like a very big and oversized shirt, like a suit shirt, or just over a t-shirt, or just wearing it as a top when the weather gets a bit warmer. She has knitted it in Drops Kid Silk and Pasquale Tibetan. The Drops Kid Silk is just a normal mohair, whereas the Tibetan Pasquale is a merino wool and animal yak fibered yarn, and I absolutely adore this yarn. Such a great yarn that she has used for it, so I definitely wouldn't switch that out. I would go for that yarn as well. The last vest I want to show you is also a drop shoulder construction, and it is by Other Loops, and it is the Rotate Loop vest. And I think this is just absolutely beautiful. She has made a sweater version of this as well, which came out in December, I believe, of 2025. So this is the newer edition, which is just the sweater version. It has a bit more of a higher neck, drop shoulder construction with these beautiful cables that are very loosely twisted, and then over the shoulders you don't have any twist to the cable, which I think is such a nice design detail, and it gives something to the eye when you're looking at it. She has made it in this beautiful gray color, and the vest on the side is a split hem, which I think is so cute too. The ribbing goes from under the arms and down to the bottom ribbing of the entire vest, which I think is so cute and a very pretty design detail as well. She has knitted this in Guipard Puno and then a soft tilt mohair from Isager, and I think this gives an overall of a worsted weight gauge. And it is just such a cute, very structured vest. I think you could even use this kind of like a t-shirt because the drop shoulder goes so far down. So it is a very versatile piece. And I don't know, I love all three of the vests. I've never knitted myself a vest before. I have two that I've gotten as gifts, but I think I might cast a vest on this year because I'm really in love with a lot of the ones that I'm seeing. The next category we can go into is colorwork patterns, and here I have 5 patterns to show you guys, and I think they're all so unique and so pretty. So the first one I want to show you is called the Bloom 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 Pullover, which I think is such a cute name, and it is by Hitomi Sawada, and it is this gorgeous flower pattern on a just very plain looking sweatshirt, and I just really adore this pattern. I think the flowers are so cute, and because they're done in multiple sizes throughout the pattern, so you have like major rows of some bigger flowers, and then between those you have like smaller rows where the flowers are sized down, just gives it a very alive look, and it is just so gorgeous. It is a very bold statement piece to wear, and I think if you're doing this pattern, doing it in very contrasting colors will suit it so well. She has done it in this gorgeous blue color with then the white flowers, which I think is absolutely stunning and definitely a color combo that I would love. I think a yellow and a green could look so pretty as well, and it's just such a lovely pattern. Just have to keep in mind that the back and the front of the pullover is worked flat, so if you haven't done flat colorwork before, this might not be the piece to start, but if you have done it, you can definitely just get going with this pattern and let me know if you have made it or want to make it, because it is just so pretty. The second colorwork pattern I have is the Spot Regular Natural Hues by Anne Wenzel. And she's a Danish knitwear designer, and I absolutely adore all of her patterns. So if you haven't heard of her before or haven't checked out her patterns before, I highly recommend you to go to her website and check them out, because I'm sure you'll find something you love. But this is a more neutral, regular version of her very popular Spot sweater. And I don't know what to say about it other than it just looks so pretty, so put together. I love the use of different hues of beige, brown with this sweater, and then how she has decided to do the like colorwork bits with black, and then as the sweater goes down to a lighter color, she changes that to a more light grayish color. I just think it is so pretty. You don't have to do it in natural hues, but it is just such a gorgeous pattern, and she has lots of patterns like this, so just go check them out. The third colorwork pattern I have is the Linework sweater by Lisa Milsner. And it is this gorgeous looking pattern. It is more of a tight fitted sweater, which I'm not normally that into, but for this pattern I quite dig it. It looks like a very modern sweater to me, with the different length of rectangles and then just the lines of color that breaks through them. It is very much like an art piece to me, and I think it is a very cute and unique sweater design, and it is quite different from some of the other stuff that I've seen, especially because it's asymmetrical and it has that bit of a modern touch compared to a lot of the flower patterns I've seen in a lot of colorwork patterns the last couple of months. So highly recommend this pattern. It says it is a modern color driven pullover that transforms basic stockinette into a bold graphic statement. The sweaters work top down primarily in smooth stockinette, becoming the canvas for a striking interplay of vertical and horizontal elements. And I completely agree with this description. It looks so much fun to knit, and I don't think it will be hard to knit at all. And so if you're a beginner wanting to get into colorwork, I would recommend this over a lot of the other patterns that I'm showing today. But it only has 10 projects in Ravelry, so not a lot to go out of, but I would love to know if any of you guys are planning on knitting this one. The fourth colorwork pattern I have is the Rosy Yoke Blouse by Lynette, and this is just an addition to her Rosy patterns, but I just think they are all so freaking cute that I had to include this as well. I like to add in some more lesser known designers when I'm doing these like pattern breakdowns, but I just adore a lot of Lynette's patterns, and I really adore this Rosy colorwork pattern as well. She also has the version that is worked flat, where it's like a drop shoulder, but this is just a plain yoke worked top down sweater with the Rosy pattern on the yoke, so you don't have to knit anything flat, which I think is nice. If you're a beginner, you could definitely do this as well. However, at the start of the pattern there is long floats, so keep that in mind if you're a beginner or like an intermediate knitter. But overall, very, very pretty design. And the last one I have is called the Fourth Sweater by GCO. And it is this very gorgeous, very like Christmassy, winter-esque looking pattern. To me, it looks like small houses at the bottom of the sweater, and then snowflakes at the top, and then like completely at the top of the yoke it looks like small stars. So I am just in love with this, and if I weren't already filled up with whips, I would cast this on for my winter holiday, but I'm not going to be able to get to that. But just wanted to showcase this very pretty and minimalistic colorwork pattern as well. So the next category I'm going into is the lacework and cables pattern, and I want to start with the Fletchy Sweater by Jo Knit, and it is this beautiful lacework sweater, but very minimalistic lacework or cables, whatever you want to call it. It has the same like kind of leafy looking pattern going at the front of the shirt with some cables like framing it, and then the sleeves has the same like cables going down here, and then some smaller ones on this side to complement the bigger cables. And I am just completely in love with this pattern. It hits all of the marks for me in a cable slash lace pattern, just for the exception that she has made it with buttons at the top of it. I don't think I would want buttons. I think I would just want like a completely normal like looking yoke with the pattern going through it. But all the same, I think you can do both ways, whether or not you want the buttons or not. But it is just the most beautiful pattern. It uses an Aran Rate yarn, and she hasn't recommended any yarn for this, so you gotta choose for yourself. However, the gauge is 16 stitches and 27 rows, so I think there is loads of Aran Rate yarn you could use for this. It says here that the Fletchy Sweater is a comfortable sweatshirt style sweater featuring a relaxed boxy fit with a drop shoulder silhouette. The sweater is constructed by knitting the back panel first, then picking up stitches to work the front panel. Afterward, the body is joined and worked in the round from the top down. And I think the oversized fit fits beautifully with the cables, and you could just decide not to do the buttons when working the front of this shirt. So yes, definitely something that is very, very high on my wish list for patterns I want to make. The second cabled pattern I wanted to show you guys is called the Chickpea Sweater, which I think is such a cute name, and it makes so much sense when looking at the pattern. It is by Sachawe Knit. So sorry for not pronouncing that right. The same with a lot of the other names in this video, but what is a girl gotta do when she's a Dane? Yeah, but it is this all over cabled sweater, but with these small like round balls incorporated into the cables of the sweater, which looks like small chickpeas, which I think really like emphasizes the name and overall design of this. I think it is a very cute sweater. it looks a bit much for me when she has knitted it up in a color. So I think for this sweater, I would definitely knit it in a more neutral color to really let the cables shine and do the work. Otherwise, it can be too much for the eye, at least for me. But a very, very cute knit. The third cabled pattern I want to show is the Etna sweater by Yndlingsting. And it is this beautiful asymmetric cable design, and I really am in love with this. Like, if the designer is watching this video, I just gotta tell you, it is absolutely stunning and so beautiful, and definitely something that I would knit. It fits my aesthetic to the T with the different kind of pattern designs that are cable design that are going through this. It must be so immersive to knit just because you're doing something different, like all around this shirt. But it also means that you're having to keep track of what you're doing. But at the same time, it just looks so beautiful, and I can't wait to follow this project on Ravelry and seeing people posting pictures of their ones. And it currently has no projects, so there's nothing to see except for her pictures of the sweater, but such a beautiful one, and I really want to highlight this for this video, and it gotta be in the thumbnail as well because it is just so pretty. The fourth one I want to show you is a lace pattern, and it is called the Simpuka sweater by Alolia Knit. And it is just this beautiful sweater that kind of looks like the first vest pattern that I showed you guys, with the lace in the middle of the sweater and then some cables to kind of frame it. It is a dropped shoulder construction, and it has like an oversized fit. I think it is just a very like minimalistic cabled lace pattern, but very pretty at the same time and quite feminine. It looks a bit like seashells to me. I don't know what Simpuka means, but seashells at the front and then these cables on the sides is just such a nice combination. The fifth pattern I want to show you guys is one that I am completely in love with as well, and there is no projects on Ravelry, and it is called the Sweet Stitches sweater by Wool Addicts Design Team. And it is just this very beautiful all over lace pattern. It is a bit more of a modern looking lace weight pattern to me, a bit more aesthetic, and it is symmetrical all over, so nothing big is happening there, which means that I like it in different colors as well. For me, if a pattern is more to the simple side, I can definitely see it in more colors, but if the cabled or lace pattern is just too complex, I really think that needs to shine and you gotta tone down the color of the sweater. This has some bell sleeves, it is cropped, it has a very it has a lower neckline, and I just think it looks absolutely stunning. It is definitely something I would knit for a summer sweater in maybe like a silk to put over if it gets a bit colder during the summer month, but absolutely love this pattern. And the last one I want to show you is called the Josephine Pullover by Ida Gransen. And it is this beautiful all over lace pattern in this very like modern abstract-esque lace pattern. It is not as fine as some lace patterns can be. It is a bit more like rustic, and I don't even know if that makes sense, but it looks very wearable to me as just a sweater that you don't have to wear over skirts or doesn't look too fine, which I think is great, and just a very pretty pattern overall. It is an oversized sweater with wide sleeves. It is worked from the top down following charts with a yoke shape using raglan increases. So very easy to follow, I think, as well. With the raglan increases, there are some German short rows and then pattern looking, but if you are new to like lace patterns, this could be a great place to start because it doesn't look too complicated. So the third category I want to talk about is cardigans, and here I have 3 patterns and they are all so pretty. The first one I want to show you is by the Danish designers Will and Eventsel, and it is the Honey Cocoon. It is this long oversized cardigan in this like honeycomb pattern. which I think is so stunning. It is very much a like cozy up on very like cold days cardigan, featuring the long length of the cardigan. The honeycomb pattern is not like your typical honeycomb pattern. It is way more intricate and small, so it gives it a bit more of a feminine and pretty look to it. And I just think all of her designs are so well thought out, and just it has that like rolled cuff, and the small details just really elevate this cardigan. And I'm really wanting to cast this on. I just think it would be such big of a project and an expensive project to do, but it is just that nice. The second cardigan I wanted to show you is called the Luleen cardigan by Isabella Clarke, and it is this very pretty like lace patterned cardigan which looks very feminine. The bottom band is a bit more rounded, I think, because the bottom band is a bit wavy, and I think that is because of the lace pattern that is done. It is a seamed pattern, which I haven't tried before, but I think it might be worth trying just because of the very feminine and pretty look. It reminds me a bit of the honeycomb cardigan. I know they don't look that similar, but just with the lace pattern, this one just being a bit bigger and then the feminine look to it. It has some bow sleeves and just overall a very pretty design. The last cardigan I want to show you, and it probably might be my favorite, is cardigan number 11 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this is just really the cardigan that I have been looking for. So I really wanted to knit a red cardigan this year, and I just did my Make 9, but this one might be the one I have to make. I think it would look gorgeous in a red color and I would get so much use out of it. It is an oversized pattern with drop shoulders, and it just looks so well made with a double knitted button band and just a big chunk of ribbing, and I just really adore this, and I can't wait to see all the projects that are going to be made with this. The second to last category I want to show you guys is the more minimal looking patterns. And here I have 5 different ones to show you. And the first one I want to show you is by a Danish designer as well. She's called Maiken Sejersbæk, and it is the Xenia sweater. And it is just this very simple drop shoulder construction with some lines going like vertically, horizontally all over the sweater. It looks very neat and very nice, a very basic construction, but just with a touch of something to make it a bit more exciting. And I think this would be great for people who are very much minimalists but want something extra to their sweater instead of just a plain stockinette sweater. The second one I want to show you is by Aigyo Knit, and it is her ball light sweater. It is one pattern that she's already released in a more heavy yarn weight version, and this one is the light version. I think it is just a very cute pattern, a very oversized sweater. And what it says here on the Ravelry page is that Bowie Light is the refined lighter version of its predecessor Bowie sweater. It has kept the same trademark details such as the wide ribbed seams along the shoulders and down the sleeves, as well as having the wrong side out. The soft yarn combination and classic look will soon make this light version as stable in your wardrobe. And it has a lot of positive ease, so very oversized, but such a cute and stable sweater to have in your wardrobe. The third one I want to show you is by Johanne Gerisch, and it is her Carrie sweater. And I showed you this in my Make 9 video. And it's just this gorgeous tight fitting long sleeved top with a twisted pattern going down the middle of the shirt. You can either choose to wear this to the front or to the back of the shirt. And I just think that this is such a stunning pattern, and I love the versatility of it. I think it would look great in so many colors, and I think it would be a staple in your wardrobe if you knitted this, because it is so pretty, so feminine, a bit sexy, but at the same time very plain. So just love this pattern. And the last one I want to show you in this category is by Petite Knit, and you've probably seen this all over, and it is the Bia blouse. And I just think this is an absolutely stunning blouse with a very wide boat neck neckline, knitted in 2 lace weight yarns held together to create a DK weight gauge. And it is just works seamlessly from top down with a boat neck. Short rows are worked at the neck to raise the back. The yoke is shaped first with increases for the sleeves and then with raglan increases. And I just think this is such a stunning, very stable piece in your wardrobe, and it is definitely one that I would be knitting because I have some yarn in my stash that would be amazing to use for this. The last category I want to show you guys for January releases is the accessory category. And here I have two different accessories. I have the Lucia bonnet and the Gucci hat, but let's start with the Lucia bonnet. So the Lucia bonnet is made by Mochi Knit, and it is just this very cute bonnet pattern. I like it for its simplicity and the fit it has on the head of the person wearing it. And I think it would look so cute in the summer, knitted up in like a cotton, a linen, or like a silk yarn. And it's just pretty bonnet pattern. And the second one I have, which is going to be the last pattern for this video, is the Gujo hat by Ayo Knit. And I'm absolutely in love with this pattern. Like, have you seen the top of this hat? It is just so cute. I love the like wide band around your head, and it is definitely one that I will be knitting. It is very stylish, and I think it would elevate a lot of different outfits, and I really can't wait to have this in my wardrobe. So I did a bit more of a quick rundown of these patterns because there was 23 and I really didn't want the video to be too long. I love to make these inspirational videos to give you inspo on what to knit, and looking through all of the January releases, which is so much fun to me, but I hope you enjoyed this video as well. You don't have to look through like 64 pages on Ravelry. You could just look through the 23 patterns that I have shown you, and I'm sure there's something that have caught your eye. I think this is it for this video. If you want to follow my knitting more in real time, you should go to my Instagram and TikTok, where I post almost daily. I really hope you have a great day, and until I see you next time, happy knitting!